All right, what's up, everybody? Today, I have the opportunity to do a quick comparison video of my 200 series Land Cruiser and a family member's Lexus GX460. So these two vehicles are kind of similar. As you can see, the Land Cruiser over here, everybody knows it as a 200 series. This one overseas is called a Prado 150 series. So they also call it a Land Cruiser Prado. Over here, this is a GX460. So I'll kind of go into depth in about both vehicles. We'll start with the GX here. So this is a 2012 pre-refresh GX460 Premium. So the Premium pre-refresh is just the equivalent of the luxury trim in the post facelift models, like 2014 and up. The pre facelift is 2010 to 2012, or excuse me, 2013. So this one's a 2012. You can see the grille looks different. The headlights and the bumper looks different. The bumper doesn't sit as far down as the post refresh models. So this one is a fully loaded GX. So it does have the air suspension in the back. It just doesn't have the crawl control. So if you take a look and see here, so if you look at the rear bumper, is the same. So it has more clearance than the post refresh ones. It does have the puddle lights. It does have KDSS standard, like all GX460s. And then the premium models have a rear airbag system, which, when some people lift their GXs, they opt to do an airbag delete. So we actually use this to tow, like my family and I, we tow like a little trailer. So this is actually, the air suspension is really useful because it can compensate for the dip when there's weight on the back with the trailer. So it knows to level out the suspension. So, when you're going over bumps and stuff, you don't really feel as much compression. So we'll take a look at my 200. I've made a video on this already, but this is my 2008 200 series Land Cruiser. This has a spacer lift, so the front sits 10 millimeters higher. This is how the overseas Land Cruisers usually sit. So this also has KDSS, 5.7 V8, 381 horsepower. The GX is also a V8, but it's a 4.6. Makes about 300 horsepower and 329 pound-feet of torque. They're both they're both 6-speeds. The GX's always had a 6-speed. The pre-refresh 200 series had a 6-speed up until the refresh in 2016. So when we look at like the power numbers, the 200 definitely feels stronger. It has more low-end torque. The 4.6 paired with the 6-speed and the GX feels, the power band, you have to rev it up a little bit more to get the power out of it. So when you look at the dimensions, they're relatively similar, I guess you can say. The GX is about 193 inches long, which is comparable to a 5th gen 4Runner. They're pretty similar. I believe a 4Runner is probably like 1 or 2 inches. The wheelbase is about 109 inches. When we look at the Land Cruiser is about 195 inches long, but it does have that traditional 112 wheelbase, which the new TNGA GX550s, the new 4Runners, and the new Land Cruiser 250 Prados are based off now. But the difference between the 200 and the GX is the width. So the GX is about 74 inches wide, I believe not including the mirror. So when we look at my garage here, this can actually clear my garage, the width of my garage, without having to fold in the mirrors. In my 200, when I pull into this bay over here, I have to physically shut the mirrors to clear the doors. So when you sit inside in the 200, it actually feels quite a bit wider. I'll kind of show you the seat space in here. For reference, I'm about 5'8", 5'9" on a good day. The seats in the 200 are kind of like stadium style, so you go in and you sit up a little bit higher. So I'll kind of jump in here and kind of show you how much space I have behind myself. So for reference, I have about 5-6 inches of space. Both vehicles are pretty loaded as far as interior creature comforts. So the Land Cruiser has 4-zone climate control, driver, passenger, and then the back seats. And then the Land Cruiser also has these roof-mounted vents, which are really convenient, as well as a climate control with heated seats in the back and vents here. So for something that's a 2008, that's pretty high tech, I'd say. So you can seat 5 people plus in the back. You can seat 2, or you can seat actually 3, because there's a headrest in the middle here, and the seats fold down. And then when you look at the GX460, this is the back seat here. And then I'll sit behind myself. Move this real quick here. So the GX, this front seat's for myself as well. So I have about 4 or 5 inches of space. And if you look here, let's get some light going on here. So you can tell the seat in the middle is a little bit more narrow compared to the 200, which makes sense because this is just a narrow vehicle in general. But when you look at the interior, the GX also has 4-zone automatic climate control, so it's very similar to the 200. You got controls on for the driver, passenger, and then when you look at the back seat, it's pretty similar. You have heated 2-stage heating, heated seats, and then you can adjust the temperatures and stuff, kind of like the 200. So again, this is the fully loaded 2012 GX. So base model GXs won't have certain features. The infotainment on the 2012 is, for standards today, it's pretty old, but it did have Bluetooth audio, things like that. When you look at sound system, I'm a pretty big sound system guy, but I don't like to put like aftermarket systems. So, as I get older, I kind of tend to just, keep whatever the OEM manufacturers have. So as you can see here, this GX has the ML, the Mark Levinson sound system. I don't remember how many speakers exactly, but they're pretty good. It doesn't have as much bass, but it's very clear. Let's turn this off. There we go. So yeah, this has the Mark Levinson. You can kind of see right here, Mark Levinson. And let's see, 6-speed. And yeah, this has the Mark Levinson. My 200 has the JBL sound system, which has more bass, but it's not as good as the 200. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe both the GX and the Land Cruiser has acoustic glass in the front. So it's a little bit quieter. This GX has the newer version of the auto dimming mirror, so anybody that needs to wire in a dash cam can easily use the dongar. You just use the 10-pin adapter, compared to the 200. The 200 in this 2008 uses the one of the first gen auto dimming mirrors. So they both have push button start. You can kind of tell like from 2008 to 2012, even though it's like a 4-year difference. There's definitely like newer things in the Lexus that have been, you can kind of see like the improvements that Toyota as a whole has made. One of the things that, for example, is how the doors work. So if you see here, there's the lock buttons for the Land Cruiser and the GX. So the old styles were just a button here, and you press it to lock, and then to unlock, you just put your hand there, right? And then when you look at the Lexus, there's no button. It's just a little tap thing here to lock it, and then to unlock, it's the same function. But for some reason, I don't know why the Lexus doesn't have it on all 4 doors. So this one doesn't have it, so it's locked, right? So to unlock it, I'd have to use the remote and just unlock it that way, you know? See? So that part's a little weird. I'm not sure why Toyota did that. Maybe the newer GXs have 4-door keyless entry. But you can see here in the back, this is the back of the 200, so same thing. And if you wanted to open this door, just put your hand there and it'll just, open. So, yeah. So the last thing I want to kind of touch base on was like the wheels and stuff like that. So these both have 18s from the factory. I'm not the biggest fan of 18s. I think it's a little bit of an awkward wheel and tire size. When you buy different tires, there's just not as much availability as buying them in the 17. So this is a 285 60 18. It's a little bit wider. I believe this is a, let's see, maybe it's a 285 60. I don't know. It's something like that. So it's also an 18. These are just highway tires. So yeah, we'll go back to the front here. Sorry, this video is a little bit all over the place, but yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. They're both fantastic vehicles. They both do kind of the same purpose. So they have pretty good 4-wheel drive capabilities. You can take them off-road. They're both full-time 4-wheel drive, with the ability to go into 4-low. So some people like that. Some people would prefer to buy a 5th-gen 4Runner because of the part-time 4-wheel drive system. But yeah, if you have any questions, put it down below in the comments, and I'll try to answer as best as I can.